I'm gonna need those feathers, and there's no way to pluck your feathers while you're alive, so... And I think the best thing to do is go for the Big Daddy itself, the diamond, baby. Hello everybody and welcome back to some more Project Skycapsule. As you can see in between episodes, I've expanded the base a little bit and I've got a basic idea for what I'm wanting to do with this. It's just gonna be very expensive and very difficult. Let me pull up my map and let me show you what I'm gonna be going for. In the center right here, we have ourselves the cobble layer. This is where everything started, and I expanded that a little bit, leading up to some cobblestone stairs, which then leads out to the stone layer. This is where we're going to be doing indeterminate things. Beyond the stone layer, we will then have another layer with a different item, which is also indeterminate. All in all, though, I think it's going to be a very fun project, and you're all going to love to see how this thing turns out in the end. Now then, on to what we've done in between episodes. As you can see, I've set up more of these resource generators, and I figured out how to actually use the sequence fabricator. So basically all you need is you need the actual item here itself, and then you can basically set those things to be their specific recipes that you want. After that, I set a config to have the size for specific needs to be auto output, and then we auto put all these things into some compacting drawers. Also, considering that all these things are EMCable, it also helps out a lot. So then, now that all of that's out of the way, we're going to be getting into today's plan. So, we need crops. We need to get crops badly, so that way we can actually get some animals, because the way we get animals is with these things called animal baits. But to get these things, we're going to need plants. Specifically, we're going to need some wheat. So if we go into this thing, we need to get ourselves a bioresource generator. I just need to get a water bucket and 8 logs. Go ahead and combine all these together, and oh hey, I still get my buckets, so I get to put that EMC back. So in order to use this thing, we're going to need to get ourselves a biocatalyst. So we need a tier 1 mini catalyst, 2 saplings, 4 logs, and 2 bone meal. Throw all that together and we get ourselves the biocatalyst. Even though we have all of this working and ready, we still need to fill this thing up with water, which means there's 2 things that I could do. One is I could set up an infinite water source and use an aqueous accumulator to automate this, or I can just simply take a bucket of water so that way we can move this thing right along, and I can more set up the automation off screen. I think I'm gonna do that. Oh, this uses a whole bucket for each generation. Yeah, I think I'm gonna set up the automation. I'll see you all when I'm done.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
Alrighty, it's very basic, but I managed to get this thing going. I actually used the water from my cobble generator just so that way I didn't have to do too much things with this. But I'll probably need to readjust this thing later just for fitting everything's sake for when I'm actually like automating all of the crops and stuff like that. I'm not sure if I'll need to do that actually, but yeah, that's fine. Now all that's left for me to do is to just hunt down all the recipes for these things so that way I know what I'm doing. Alrighty, I should have enough of everything. So we got the mushroom, we got the wheat.
You get the idea.
And finally, the red mushroom. Yay! We did it! I don't know what doing that one constitutes anything for, but we did it. Actually, and with this, we now have completed that chapter, so we can go ahead and then get those chapter rewards. This mod pack made a special thing to where certain chapters will have rewards when you complete them. So for this one, we get a biogenerator and a crusher. Are these EMCable? Nah, they're not. I didn't think so. Actually, most of these things aren't EMCable. The only things I was able to was the wheat and the pumpkin. But now that we have ourselves the wheat, we can now go ahead and then utilize this to make ourselves the cow bait, which is also EMCable. And then after that, I guess we just need to try and use this. Place more blocks for animal biome here. Okay, I think I might understand. So right here it said using cow bait near water, grass, and a tree. I'm not certain about this, but I'm gonna have to give it a shot. You are too close, the animals are scared away. So this is what I needed. I just needed to have that there, and I need to run away somewhere. So I guess then let's just go ahead and then build out in a certain direction, and hopefully we can observe if these things are going on. Unfortunately, I won't be able to see if I'm not far away enough, so we're just gonna have to go with it and just watch carefully.
5 minutes later.
Oh my goodness, and look over there. I just kept building out because I didn't know how far away I was going to need to be. but we definitely went far enough away. Oh my goodness. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. We have ourselves our cow now. Now for the next step. As this thing says right here, we need to just pet this thing very gently with our sword or our fists or our axe. Go ahead. We need you to give us your things. We need to give us. Yes! Oh my goodness, if that didn't give me what I needed, I was gonna die. And the best part is we can go ahead and then use EMCifying on this stuff. And it's good now. So then after that, to complete this chapter, I probably shouldn't have destroyed that thing because I realized I also needed to make the chicken bait. And chicken bait is very easy. I just need to use 2 seeds. Just gonna place this boy right here and back to building away to an indeterminate distance.
20 minutes later.
Oh my goodness, look at this. We've got ourselves the chicken, baby. Oh my goodness. I was waiting there for a good few minutes, honestly. Like, that thing took forever to spawn. But we finally have it. Now, you might be thinking I need to go ahead and kill this thing for feathers right away. But no, I actually need for it to wait. I need to wait and lay... I need to wait for this thing to lay an egg, and then I can kill it, because both an egg and the feathers are EMCable. I just don't know how long it takes for you, my little chicken friend, to lay an egg. When are you going to do such a thing? I don't know when you will. So until you lay an egg, you're safe. You're safe. Just don't walk off the edge, otherwise I'll hunt you down. So while we're waiting for that, let's actually go ahead and then complete another chapter right here, which basically most of this chapter was just checking things off. And, oh yeah, and I didn't collect the sapling. That's neat. But for the rest of this, it's actually going to be very simple. We just need to make the basic Tinker's stuff. And they really are not difficult to get. Like, everything in this is EMCable. So, like, firstly, we're going to need to make a pattern, which just takes some wood and some sticks. Combine all that together, and we get ourselves some nice EMCable patterns. Then after that, we just need to grab 3 more of these patterns, and that should be good. So firstly, let's get rid of this, this crappy little crafting table right here. Like, this thing is obsolete, absolutely obsolete. So that way we can go ahead and then make ourselves this crafting station. Then after that, we can go ahead and then just construct everything else that we're missing right here, being the Tinker Station and the part builder. That was loud in my ear. And that is the end of the Tinker's questline. I'm gonna go ahead and just throw these things into the transmutation table for now, since I don't really need them on hand. And I'm also kind of running out of space. But now that we've completed that, oh my, is that? Yep, that's Manulin. Okay, cool. So if we were to make things with these things, they're on the same level as netherite. So yeah, that's fun. We got ourselves some Manulin now. In hindsight, I probably shouldn't have accepted those yet. I need chests.
Later.
And also, wouldn't you know it, the chicken has finally laid an egg. Oh my goodness. So that means, it was fun having you around, little chicken, but unfortunately, I'm gonna need those feathers, and there's no way to pluck your feathers while you're alive, so you must sacrifice yourself for my greater good. So now with that, we have now completed the basic resources chapter. Oh my goodness. And with that completion, we get ourselves a stack of iron blocks. That's gonna yield so much EMC. 147,000 to be exact. 147,456 to exact the exactness. My apologies. So now that we've gotten to all of that, there's just one thing left that we need to do before we can get ourselves up to tier 2 resources. Because it's with tier 2 resources that we're actually going to be able to get diamonds, of all things. Also, we'll be able to get gold, and well, basically it'll just open up a bunch more things. But in order for us to do that, we need to get steel. To get steel, we need to do some immersive engineering. So to start off our engineering journey, we need to first make ourselves an engineer's hammer. So now that we have this hammer, we can go ahead and then collect these 2 things right here. The first thing I wanted was the engineer's manual, so that way I can know how to construct things. And the other thing is this magma block right here, which is going to be very important for later. So the next thing on our list is we're going to need to make ourselves a coke oven. You might have seen me make this in Ocean Block a little while ago, and it's basically the same. We just need 4 clay, 4 bricks, and then a sandstone. We need 27 of these things in total. That should have been the list, actually. Yes, it's 27. So let me gather up all those and then build the basic thing, and then I'll show you what we need to do. Alrighty, I got everything in place, so now all we need to do to make this thing into a coke oven is we need to right-click one of the center blocks on any side, and there we go. Now it is all ready to do what we need it for. So what we need it for exactly is we're going to need to take coal and we just throw it into there, and then it starts burning that coal, and once it's done, it's going to make two things. One is going to be coal coke, and the other is going to be something called creosote oil. This is what's going to help us make treated wood for a bunch of other things. You know, that's for another thing. The only thing we really need is going to be the coal coke. And here we go, we have ourselves the coal coke. Now, the thing qualifies for 20... Oh gosh, it calls for 27. Oh boy. Please tell me that steel's EMCable. It's not. Yay! I'm gonna need to throw a lot of coal into here. And I guess since we have the ability to, just so that we can get the achievement, we can also go ahead and then make a kiln. I don't entirely know what this thing is for, but it says it's for alloying things. So we just need to go ahead and then make ourselves a little 2x2 like this, and then we whack that with our hammer, and we get ourselves a kiln. Interesting. It looks like it's the little brother of the coke oven, honestly. That's adorable. So, now that that's over with now, though, the next thing we need to do is we need to get ourselves some blast bricks. This is why I needed the magma block earlier, because this is an integral part of this recipe. We just need 4 bricks, the magma block, and a nether brick, which we can just smelt down some netherrack, which I already got before. Alrighty, so now all that's left for me to do is I should just need to hit this, and there we go. We got ourselves our crude blast furnace. That's actually really good. So how we make this thing work is going to be very special. We just need to take a piece of iron and a coal coke. This is why we needed the coke. We go ahead and then burn all of this together, and then this should make the steel. Now, I'm going to need 30 steel, so this is going to be a process. Oh gosh, wait, that means I'm going to need more coal coke. I will see you all when that's ready. Oh gosh, it looks like it's the whole family. This one's the mommy because it has something in the oven. No. Oh my gosh, this took absolutely forever. But we got the steel, baby. Oh my goodness. So, while I was away, this actually took so long that I decided to do some things. First and foremost, I made the actual quest book, so I no longer have to open up my tab and then just go into there. I can just open up straight from here. That's nice. But I also went ahead and did the engineer's workbench line, which is basically to take the creosote oil to make the treated wood, so that way we can then make the engineer's workbench. And because of this thing, we were actually able to get one of the blueprints that we're going to need, being the metal press plate. The reason we're going to need this thing is very simple, really. We're going to need to make one more contraption, so that way we can go ahead and then start generating tier 2 resources. This is gonna be complex, so I've already gathered up everything I'm going to need to be able to make the generator for this. So let's go ahead and then make that just to clear out some inventory space. But the problem with this thing is that even though we have this now, we can't use it until we get our mini catalyst. To make the mini catalyst, we're going to need to make a metal press. But we're also going to need to make this thing right here, which is the tier 1 compressed agglomerate. This thing is expensive, because to get that we need 8 of these tier 1 agglomerates, plus one of the mini catalysts of normal things. And to make just one of these, we need 3 compressed copper blocks, 2 compressed coal blocks, 3 compressed iron blocks, and 1 compressed redstone block, all culminating to a 108,864 EMC. So yeah, that thing is going to be very, very expensive, but you all already see how I'm going to be able to make that. I just need to make 9 of these individual things for the things that I don't already have, so that way we can then make this. That's going to be a whole process in of itself. So instead what we're going to do is we're going to gather up all those materials off screen, and we're just going to make ourselves the press. Now the metal press is fairly simple. We just need all the blocks that we see right here. We're going to need the heavy engineer's block, a piston, which I've already made before so that way I could make the compacting drawers, 2 steel scaffolding, a redstone engineer's block, and a conveyor belt. The conveyor belts will be very easy. Those are actually EMCable. Hopefully 30 steel is going to be enough. I really don't know. So let me gather up all of these materials, and then we'll start constructing the thing.
Eventually.
Alrighty, I've gathered up everything, and I actually remember how to make this, so I don't actually need the book. So depending on how you want this to flow will depend on the way you place these conveyor belts. So there's an arrow right here which shows you the direction it's going to be facing. I want it to be going that way. Then after that, oh gosh, the conveyor belt moves me. We're going to want the piston right here. Now, normally it needs to be facing downwards, but I actually want to check just to see if this actually is a requirement or if nothing else. Actually, it is going to be a requirement, but I didn't actually know I could move this. Wait, does this use up durability? I mean, either way, now that we got that block up there, we can go ahead and just place this downwards. Just need to be specific. There we go. And then we can click on this. And now we have ourselves the press. Now, this does require power, so we're going to need a Stirling dynamo and some pipes and a fuel source. I'm just going to go ahead and throw a piece of coal in there just because it really doesn't matter all that much. And I think this needs to go in. It might need to be directly from the top, it might not be, and we can just go ahead and throw that into there, and it will start to put power into this thing. So now that we have that thing ready, we're just going to need to make this metal press right here, which is going to just take 3 steel plates and engineer's wire cutters. Those are not expensive. So then we just need to place that thing right underneath there, and this is done. Realistically speaking, I probably should have put all my immersive engineering stuff on the stone layer. So in between episodes, I'm definitely going to move those. But either way though, now that we've gotten this thing ready, the last thing that we're going to need is going to be this. I'm gonna do this off screen. I'll see you all in a minute.
One eternity later.
Okay, this took me several hours to do, but I finally managed to gather up all 8 of these things, which means we can now go ahead and make the compressed one and go ahead and throw that into there. All that's left for us to do is to just throw this onto the conveyor belt, and wow, there we go. That big thing again turns into this tiny little thing. Once this thing finishes its generation, we can go ahead and then grab ourselves tier 2 resource capsule, baby. Oh my gosh. This took forever. I'll probably set up an automation similar to this, but I will do that in between episodes simply because this is just going to take a long time. But I do want to make at least one of the things first, and I think the best thing to do is go for the Big Daddy itself, the diamond, baby. But with this, we can go ahead and then add that to the EMC table, and there we go. We're golden.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
So the last thing that I wanted to do today is actually do something rather interesting. I want to finish up the immersive engineering line simply because once I do this, I'll then have another chapter reward, and also all of the chapter 1 things will be completely done. So let's go ahead and then collect this reward, and then we can go ahead and then mark that off, which then gives us access to these last 2 ones, which are not expensive. This just takes steel and 4 windmill segments, no, water wheel segments, which just takes more treated wood. And then for the windmill, it's just going to take 8 of these windmill blades, which is also a bunch of treated wood. The sticks are EMCable, I don't have to worry about that. And I'm only going to need 24 of these treated things to be able to get the windmill, and it looks like I'm going to need 12 more of those. So that's in a total of 36 of these, I think. So let's go ahead and then start making everything. Normally you would use a bucket for this, but this recipe I found does work, and that should be more than enough. And finally, the water wheel, and then also, wait for it, windmill. I love that sound. So let's go ahead and mark off all of our achievements, just so that way we can get everything that we've left behind. And this does give me my drawer key now, as well as my drawer controller, which means I don't have to spend anything on those. So I can just go ahead and then lock these things to be in their permanent states. So beautiful. I also got this cool looking suitcase. Very, very nice. So with the sunset behind me, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out my last Project Skycapsule video. Bye-bye!